for the first time, Africa is portrayed in a very, very positive light. I am shook, honey. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on Black Panther. So I went to see the movie last week and it was amazing. Amazing. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might not want to watch this because it's going to be a teeny little bit of a spoiler. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Black Panther, please keep watching. I would love to have you here. First thing I'd like to talk about is T'Challa as the warrior, the king, and how he thought about the well-being of the people at all times. Like throughout the movie, you can see him making decisions based on what is good for his people rather than what he wants or decisions for his personal gain. So that's something I really liked about his character, and also it got me thinking, like, many I don't want to say African leaders, but specifically my experience, Nigerian leaders, like, they don't consider the well-being of the people. Many of them just go in there and do things for their own personal gain, and that's something that when I was watching this movie, it really got me thinking. I was like, wow, this is this very powerful king and warrior. He was all for his people. Like when Eric told him that he could use vibranium in his kingdom to help the outside world, to protect other people, and he was like, those are not my people. Like, he was all for his people. Now, I'm not saying that you should just isolate yourself and don't help other people, but I want to looking at it in a positive light. He was a good leader. Like, he was all for his people, and that's something I really appreciated, because in Nigeria they're just a handful of leaders who actually are there for the people, like, who are not just there for their own pockets. So it was something I would really like our African leaders to learn. Pick one or two lessons from this film, it will hurt. So yeah, that was a very wonderful thing about T'Challa and Wakanda. The next topic, or the next thing I wanted to talk about, is unity among the tribes. I love the way that the council of elders was made up of people from one person from each tribe, and you could see the unity all the way forward was about the whole kingdom of Wakanda. And it was such a beautiful thing, because in Nigeria, boy oh boy, there are many tribes, but there's also not unity. Like, everybody is like, oh, this is my own tribe, let me help my own people, and it's not such a good thing, but it's there. And that's something I wish we could all learn from this film. It's not just we are different people who come together to make this beautiful big country. So I feel like we could learn from this film about unity, because though the tribes are different in their own respects, but they still see themselves in a sense as one, because they're all from Wakanda. Why should they be fighting? But anyway, yeah, that's something that I wish I could see more of in Nigeria, specifically in Nigeria, because there are plenty tribes in Nigeria, but there's no unity. Like, people are just all for my own, your own, and it's not really a good thing. It doesn't lead to peaceful coexistence. And we have all these stories in the news about these particular people being like fighting against this other tribe. Why? Because they're just from a different tribe, and it doesn't make sense. I swear. Like, I don't even understand it till today. Like, I don't even understand it. Like, anyway, we could all learn from it. Another thing also was representation. Like, this movie, for me, this movie really showed, like, why representation matters. At the ending of the movie, where when Shuri and T'Challa were back in Auckland, and they came with their kind of spaceship kind of thing from Wakanda, and this young black guy, this black kid, saw it and was like, and he asked T'Challa, is that yours? And it was so, the look in his eyes and the way he asked T'Challa, who are you? Like, it was so, it just, when that part came on, like, I was like, wow, like, representation really matters, because that young boy looking at T'Challa, he's like, if he can do it, if he can be this powerful and have all these things and do all these things, then that means I can too. And it's really empowering, and I really absolutely loved that part. Like, it was so cool. Okay, so also in this movie, women played a huge role, and I'm a feminist, so I was like, yes, go girl. I love the way that the Dora Milaje was made up of all women, and they were not just an all women fighting force. They were like the fighting force of the kingdom, like the fighting force of the entire Wakanda. Like, if there's a war or something, they are the ones that will have to go out and fight and everything. And it was so cool to see that it was made up of women. That is something that in a Nigerian society, I mean, we are coming up, like, it's not as bad as before, but in the Nigerian society, gender roles thing is still kind of a thing, because where they're like, oh, you're a woman, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I like the way that in this movie it kind of breaks down those barriers, those ideas we have in our head about, oh, this is a woman, she should be doing this. You see the way the Dora Milaje, they were fighting, and they showed such strong, like, I love the way they just portrayed, like, the strong black woman who despite her emotions would still do what's right. So I really love the way they empowered women and showed women in a positive light in this movie. Also, I really liked Okoye's character, where the part where Okoye and Wakabi, I believe, yeah, where so Okoye and Wakabi, they're kind of lovers, and I really liked where Wakabi asked Okoye, so you would kill me, my love? And she was like, for Wakanda, yes, that she would kill, that she's loyal to the throne and everything. And I think that is also something Nigerians can learn from this. Like, when she said, I really loved when she said, I am loyal to the throne no matter who sits on it. So, okay, so in Nigeria, there's always this tendency for people of the same tribe to be like, oh, somebody from my tribe is in power, let me support, or I'm going to do the right thing because somebody from my tribe is in power. But when someone else who is not from their tribe is in power, they'll be like, I don't like the person is. It's just tribalism and nepotism, basically. Yeah. So I like the way that, irrespective of Okoye being, in my head, let's say Okoye is from a different tribe than T'Challa, I still like the way she supported Eric and T'Challa when both of them were in power at their own times. And I like also the part where she got to choose between doing the right thing, like the right thing, which is her being in the Dora Milaje, supporting the king, and following her conscience. I really like that she was loyal to the throne no matter the person that was in authority. It was a really striking lesson, and I wish that many Nigerian leaders could learn from it. Learn from it. I liked Nakia as someone who knows her calling. Like, she turned down T'Challa, the king. to go fulfill her calling. Like, how cool is that? That even though she could stay back and become the queen of Wakanda, and live in this good paradise, and be comfy and everything, she still chose to go out there and you know help people. And she's like, I've seen the grief out there, I've seen all the horrible things happening out there, and I choose to leave all these wonderful things behind in Wakanda and go out there and help. Like, it was so cool. Like, she knows what she was called to do. So I really like that, and I feel like I kind of want to relate this to Africans in the diaspora, or Nigerians in the diaspora. There are many Nigerians who, when they leave Nigeria, they're like, oh, I'm out of Nigeria. Oh, I am not going back there. I am not having anything to do with them. And Nigeria doesn't have it all, but we're definitely coming up, and it's so painful when Nigerians leave Nigeria, like, and they don't want to go back and help or do something to help. Like, people, they just stay there complaining, and they're like, oh, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. And I'm like, what are you, as a citizen of Nigeria, what are you doing about Nigeria? What are you doing to help? So I know it doesn't really relate to like Nakia's role, but I kind of, in my head, it just connected in a way. So that's just what I was thinking in my head. So yeah, so I would really urge Nigerians out there to, like, don't just stay there and complain that Nigeria is not doing well. What are you doing to help? Like, I mean, it may not be right now, it may not be or you don't have to go back and take a political office. You could do something with your money, help, and generally see that you are doing something, no matter how small. Nothing is too small to do to help. So that's just my thoughts. Also, about T'Challa, I really liked the way he admitted that his father did wrong. Like, when Eric came back, and you could see that Eric was a wounded person who just wanted to take revenge. And I like that T'Challa admitted that it was his father, or them as the people, who did wrong and created this monster in T'Challa, in Eric. And I really like that he stood up for what was right, and he could see that he was a man of integrity, which I really liked. And he just wasn't about, oh, this person has come to take the throne and I'm all for, oh, let me go take the throne. He was thinking more about his people. When he knew that somebody like Eric in power is not good for the kingdom of Wakanda, and he was more about, let me go take down this guy because he's not good for Wakanda, than he was about, oh, he's on my throne, I need to go knock him off so that I can go back to being the king. So that was something I really liked about T'Challa. It goes back to his general love for, or his general love for the people. Like, he's putting himself on the line for the people, if that makes sense. But I really absolutely love the movie. I think that this movie is a very, 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 very good movie to start up conversations about race, the African continent as a whole, yeah. And also to like break negative stereotypes, like stereotypes where people think Africa is all poor and blah blah blah. But I mean, we don't have it all together. I'm not saying we have it all together, but we are doing good to an extent. But I mean, we could definitely do better. I'm sure we could do better. But right now, that's just what it is. That's it for today's video. Those were just my thoughts, and I really enjoyed the movie. if you have not seen the movie, this movie is worth the hype. It was so good, and it's worth your money. Go watch it. Go spend that money you've been saving. Go and watch it, Jerry. So I'll see you guys in my next video, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Deuces.